So, as the name implies, this race was wild from start to finish. You had how many different cars blow, how many different tires. Quinn Houff who blew like a left front and like a back tire. Like the 0-0, like the week after they announced that Starcom is going to close next season, they did not have a very good race, you can tell, as per usual, just because Quinn Houff is not really an upgrade over who they used to have in Landon Castle. But the rest of this race, there was Kyle Busch. He looked like he was perhaps going to drop below the cutoff line of the playoffs because he had a flat tire. I was watching it as a Kyle Busch fan. I was watching his points tick down, going from like plus 20 to the good, and he's like going all the way down to plus 2. I nearly had a heart attack. I thought he was going to lose a playoff spot just because of how he's performed this round so far. Typically, you expect better from Kyle Busch, especially since he's had a pretty decent season, 2 wins, At Darlington, he just made a odd mistake with that. I don't even remember what he kind of just like spun out, almost ran a few NASCAR officials over as well as some cones, but that's all good. Then at Richmond, while he was in contention for the win, he sped on pit road. That was another rather uncharacteristic mistake for the Candyman. Then in this race, the car just was a top 10 car, but it doesn't look like it was going to be able to contend for the win. And then the flat tire happened, so I just thought that Kyle Busch was going to be a first round out just because of bad luck and his own, shortcomings. But yeah, instead we have who's out of the round of 16. It's Eric Almirola, Tyler Reddick, Kurt Busch, and Michael McDowell. Half of those drivers, actually, more or less, Kurt Busch. I did not think he was going to be eliminated this early into the round, but in Richmond, he had that flat tire while he looked like he could have contended for the win or maybe a top 5. I don't know who was going to be able to beat Joe Gibbs Racing at Richmond. And then this week, his car just was not fast enough. Obviously, Kurt Busch is very good at Bristol, so to see him this far off the pace and finishing something like 17th, that was pretty weird to see from a guy who's had 5 wins at Bristol and is usually a contender for the win every time the Cup Series goes there. Tyler Reddick, I know a lot of people had him advancing into the round of 12 in the playoffs, but I just didn't think that a second-year driver and a first-time playoff driver is going to be able to do that. Tyler Reddick is really good, don't get me wrong, but I just did not see him being able to have the speed to get into the next round. And Eric Almirola, for a good portion of this race, he looked like he was going to advance into the round of 12 until he had that whole pit stop conundrum. That kind of ruined his race, lost him a lot of track position. Then he ended up just not making the right adjustments to the car to, overcome that. William Byron and Alex Bowman both rally like crazy to get into the top 5 to avoid elimination in just the first round. So there's still the possibility of a Hendrick Championship 4. But if you're asking me personally, I'm not sure that even all of Hendrick will be getting into the round of 8. I think that one of them is going to be pretty likely to miss the round, whether that be because of certain other drivers' shenanigans or just because the other 8 drivers are going to perform better than them. I don't know. And anyways, let's get to the most memorable part of this race, you could say. Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott getting into it. The way I saw it, Kevin Harvick just got a bit loose in the corner and he kind of slid up into Chase Elliott. That was more of a racing incident. And then Chase Elliott openly said on the radio, oh, I'm not going to let him pass. I'm going to make his life difficult for him. I'm going to, try my best to not let him win. So obviously, there's some bad blood between them. I thought it was a racing incident. And, I was thinking that Kevin Harvick wasn't going to be holding anything back just because he hasn't won in a year. He's obviously going to be very hungry to get back into victory lane again. But the way he almost wrecked Kyle Larson, and Kyle Larson saved it 2 different times, that's amazing. Kyle Larson, I haven't liked him all year just because of how he's, been so dominant, kind of like Kevin Harvick last year. But the way he's showcased his talent and the desire to win, that's kind of winning me over, I have to say. Yeah. It's just too bad that we don't have a full season points system, just because I know that Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin would probably be separated by like 10 to 20 points right now. And the past like entire playoffs have just been absolutely insane with both of them at the top of their A game. So it kind of sucks that we don't get to witness an epic full season points system battle. But hey, I'm going to be looking forward to seeing the rest of the playoffs. You know, obviously every cutoff race, there's always a lot of nerves, a lot of heartache, heartbreak, and all other kinds of emotions, whether seeing your driver, you know, get eliminated or perhaps clutch up and, you know, make the next round. I'm going to be looking forward to the next few races, especially at Talladega and the Roll. Those are going to be some wild cards. But yeah, that was a great race.